everyone, welcome back to another layout for the Mad About mini paper pads. This time I am pulling out another kind of Project Life one. I think these were called Snap by Simple Stories or something like that. I have used a little bit of these. I don't know how well these fit into my Project Life, so I thought I would pull them out and get them used up. I might be able to get more than one layout because there's quite a bit here, but this is the boy themed one. I don't remember the name of the actual, yeah, it says Snap Studio by Simple Stories. So this is the boy theme one again. I don't really, that's all I know. It did come, I don't know if the stickers came with it or how, I don't remember how it all works, but I want to say it did. So there's mini alphas, icons, some regular alphas, and a whole bunch of 4x6. I won't take too long to show you, just a quick flip through, a whole bunch of 4x6, and even more 3x4s. So not sure exactly what I'm going to do with these because I am extremely limited by the size, but I think it'll be fun to play around. So let's get started with the layout. To start out with on this layout, I am showing you a few things that I have pulled out to use from my stash for this layout. I'm trying to show you the name of that stencil, but just so you know, it is by Crafter's Companion. I don't really recognize that name brand, so I will do my best to link it below. I can't imagine where I would have gotten it from. Anyways, I am going to I have to redo this voiceover and I will talk about that in just a moment, but I did have this video all ready to go up and I realized that one of the products that I said was totally awesome is going to not be what I thought it was. So again, I will talk about that in just a moment. If you are a follower of mine, you know that this is the year of using my stash, whether it's consumables such as, like papers and things like that, or if it's things that you keep like dies. It's my goal this year. That is what I want to do. So far this Mad About mini pads has been great for that because not only am I using things like metal dies or enamel dots, things like that, but I'm using my small paper pads, which was actually on my to-do list before I even joined the collaboration, which is why I joined it. So first thing I want to ask is if anybody out there knows of a good spray ink. I'm thinking I'm trying to make big splatters here. So but this doesn't work. It does make little splatters, and I did try on another layout. I do have the re-inker. I could probably fill in one of those little mini mister bottles with re-inker, but I just wondered, it would be good if there was just a kind of a dark gray or a light gray even spray ink. And I know there's tons out there, so if you have any advice as to a good one to make kind of splatters that I don't want gigantic splatters like, huge, but just thought I would ask you guys for advice on that one. But what I have done so far on this layout, if you've been watching, I took that stencil and I just took my pewter ink, and I didn't want a real noticeable background. You can see there's a couple darker parts there where I accidentally added too much ink and got a little heavy-handed, but I'm happy. It was like a happy accident, I guess you could say, because I like the little bit of darker spots. So I did that with the stencil in kind of a few different spots, and I moved the direction the stencil was going so it wasn't all vertical or horizontal or the diagonal. It was like different directions, and I did it all over the page in a kind of a diagonal form. When the layout is done, you will notice that there's actually not a lot it's not very noticeable because of what I'm going to do with this background. This layout is a little bit different than my normal layout type, I guess, but I absolutely love how this turned out. So I'm doing this picture. I'm scrapbooking this picture of my son from 2009. And yes, this is the kiddo that is now at college. So I do not claim to be caught up at all with my scrapbooking. I do photos as I feel they match with the papers, whatever I'm inspired by. Um, so I'm going to take this photo and I'm going to mount it with first one of the orange patterns with a very tiny border and then this striped one, just to kind of give it a little bit of emphasis. And then also at the beginning of this layout, I showed very quickly that I had taken the time to cut out a bunch of star dies from the pattern papers. Now, I love, I love how it turns out. I do have a set of star dies that are still connected. I've never taken them apart. There was a YouTuber I watched years ago, and she kind of suggested doing that. I have no idea who it was. It's been forever. And you do not have to keep your dies together by any means, but when you keep them together, you get the outlines of the stars and not just the full shapes. So I do have a couple different sets of star dies. I think one actually has stitching and the other one doesn't, so that's the difference. But you can see here, I did most of the stars with the outlines. So I got all different kinds of sizes. So that's just a tip or a trick. If you've already cut your star dies apart and do not want to invest in anymore, totally don't blame you. But you can just line them up and use some washi tape to hold them down to get the same effect. And I'm just going to take these dies, or these die cut pieces, I guess, and basically build my background. I'm going for a very diagonal look on this page. One thing I will suggest when you are doing a diagonal like this is to kind of sprinkle a couple pieces out, which you will see. I'm kind of starting to do that now, so it's not an extreme diagonal, and I hope that makes sense. But just to give it a little bit more, make it a little easier on the eyes. See, you can see I'm putting the smaller stars kind of out a little ways. That just makes it so it's not like a very diagonal line. So just that's a little trick. Now here is what I'm showing you. And the first voiceover I did, I had just made this layout and I was so excited about this product. You can see it's very much similar to press and seal that Jennifer McGuire uses and a lot of people use to pick up pieces. This was so awesome to pick up all the stars at once, so I wouldn't have to either take a picture, which is not that hard to do, but I didn't have to take the time to sit there and glue each one of these stars down one by one. So I was very, very excited. I'm like, go get this, guys. You got to go get one of these. They have all different sizes. And then after I got done with my entire video, I started working on my second layout, and I use a lot, kind of something similar as far as the stars. It's different, but you will see next month. But I went to clean it after that, and it wiped all of the stickiness off. There is absolutely no sticky. Okay, there's a little bit of stickiness left, but yeah, I'm very disappointed in it. I even gave it a thumbs up there, like, hey, this is actually pretty cool, but I highly suggest not getting one of these. This is from scrapbook.com. It's like one of their exclusive items. Um, like I mentioned, Jennifer McGuire does the same thing with press and seal. So if you don't want to glue each star down one by one, then you can use press and seal. But I think that you probably could use like that pixie spray to re-stick this mat, or I would even suggest maybe a Cricut mat, like an old Cricut mat. You can kind of cut it up, or even a new one and cut it up. I don't know, anything like that. I did like the fact that this was clear and had a grid, but I apologize. I was so disappointed because it was so, look how easy it is. The only failing part of it was a user error because I forgot to take the backing off of all the foam adhesive that I used. But anyways, just letting you know that I'm no longer giving this thing a thumbs up, which I'm very sad about because, like I said, it was a pretty awesome product. So back to the layout for the stars. On most of the solid stars here, I am using foam tape, which you can probably see. And for the outline stars, I just glued them to the page. And I am making sure, another thing you want to kind of make sure is that some of these, actually more of the stars than I thought, get kind of hidden. Maybe that's the second layout, but some of them do get hidden behind the photo, and I did that intentionally. So you want some to go behind your whatever photos, clusters, whatever you have, and you also want some to go off of the page, which having them go off the page, you can just cut little pieces down and they work really well for other spots to make it look like they're going off the page. And because I had popped up some of the solid stars, I decided to go ahead and add a bunch of foam tape and pop up this title and the photo. And I think the title says, "This is what awesome looks like," or something like that. I love this photo. We just came out of a store and he was just chilling like he always does. So he's quite the kid. But I'm going to play around. There is a few pieces that I fussy cut, which you can kind of see up on the top right of the corner. So you can see I'm also adding more to this diagonal line. So like I said, it's not just a full diagonal from one corner to the next. It kind of goes in and out in places. And so the fussy cut pieces that I'm going to use on that card was a smiley face piece. And this is my son since even before this picture was taken. If there was a place for him to leave a smiley face, then you're going to find a smiley face, like in dust, on anything. I love it. I have so many pictures of his little smiley faces all over, and I'm going to do a layout with all of those one time. But I wanted to definitely get that smiley face on there. But that will bring in a circle aspect, which works out. There is one I'm going to make like a triangle of circles just so, because I don't want just the one circle. You could just easily use enamel dots to fill that in with, but um, I decided there is this high five sticker and I'm going to add a third circle sticker. And then I do add some enamel dots at the end, kind of more towards the end of this layout, which I don't add much more. I'm taking a few things from this sticker sheet that came with this kit, and I'm going to place them around just for a little something more than just the stars. And you can notice at this point that a lot of that stenciling and splattering I did in the beginning has gotten pushed way to the background. So it's just a little something. If you wanted to leave that off, by all means, you could leave that off and your layout would still look really cute. It just kind of gives it a little more of that grungy boyness is what I kind of looked at it. And I had fun playing. I got to use stencils, I got to use dyes, I got to use inks. Again, more things from my collection that I've been keeping around in my room and not using. So the enamel dots that I originally pulled out with this to use with this isn't going to work out, and mostly because I didn't want to add more stars or anything like that or a random shape. So I do pull out some different enamel dots, and I do have a video that I'm going to make where I talk about my new enamel dot storage, which I love. And I have pulled from that new enamel dot storage, excuse me, I have pulled from that new enamel dot storage some enamel dots that I want to get used up, which is some of these ones that you'll see here in a minute that I've had for years. And like I said, they don't work, but I went back to that, what I've pulled, and found some more that really look really good. And I love this background. I don't know. It feels like it's pattern paper or something. I don't know. From this view, it's not super easy to tell that those are die cut stars, but I had a lot of fun playing with this layout. Trying to think if there's, oh yeah, the last thing that I am going to do, which I do off camera, I stamped my date. You guys probably know that I stamp my date on a lot of layouts, basically. but because I stamped it there, you can see it on that picture there. It was like this black lettering. So I went and through my stamps and pulled out a couple of other black words and made like a triangle of 3, which you can see the word happiness on this screen. And so I did that in 2 different spots. So there's 3 stamped words around the layout as well. So I'd love to know what you think, and please give me a comment. Don't forget to follow the links below and have fun with this YouTube hop.